How to know someone is lying to you. Have you ever felt like someone wasn't telling you the whole truth, but you just couldn't prove it? Maybe it was a business partner promising returns that seemed too good to be true. Maybe it was someone you were dating who always had excuses for why they couldn't meet up. Or maybe it was a friend borrowing money with a story that didn't quite add up. Whether in business, relationships, or everyday life, lies cost us trust, money, and opportunities. Today, I'm going to show you how to spot the signs when someone is lying to you so you can protect yourself and make smarter decisions. Because the truth is, most people are terrible at detecting lies. But by the end of this video, you won't be. Let's start with some numbers that might surprise you. Studies show that the average person lies 1 to 2 times per day. That's at least 365 lies per year from everyone around you. And here's the kicker. Most people can only detect lies about 54% of the time. That's barely better than flipping a coin. Some lies are small, "I'm fine" when they're clearly not, or "I was stuck in traffic" when they just left late. But some lies can ruin your finances, your career, or your relationships. I'm talking about the business partner who lies about company finances, the romantic partner who lies about their past or their intentions, the financial advisor who lies about investment risks, the contractor who lies about project timelines and costs. These aren't just white lies, these are the lies that cost you real money and real opportunities. So how do you catch them? How do you protect yourself from people who aren't being honest with you? It all comes down to knowing what to look for. 1. The body doesn't lie. Here's the first thing you need to understand. When people lie, their body often betrays them before their words do. Let me tell you about micro-things. These are quick flashes of genuine emotion that last less than half a second. They happen before people can control their facial expressions. For example, someone might smile while telling you they're happy about your promotion, but you might catch a quick flash of anger or jealousy in their eyes. That micro-expression is their real feeling leaking through. Now let's talk about eye movements. Forget everything you've heard about looking left means lying. That's a myth. But there are real eye signals to watch for when someone is lying. They might avoid direct eye contact, not because they're looking in a specific direction, but because maintaining eye contact while lying feels uncomfortable. On the flip side, some liars will do the opposite. They'll stare at you too intensely, trying to prove their honesty through eye contact. It feels forced and unnatural. Also watch for excessive blinking. Research shows that when people are nervous or lying, they tend to blink more frequently than normal. Body language is huge. If someone suddenly can't sit still while giving you an answer, that's a red flag. They might start fidgeting with their hands, touching their face, or covering their mouth. I once had a business meeting where a potential partner kept rubbing his neck every time we talked about money. Turns out, his company was in serious financial trouble, something he failed to mention until much later. Here's another big one. Watch for people who suddenly change their posture when certain topics come up. They might cross their arms, lean back, or create physical barriers between you and them. Their body is literally trying to distance itself from the lie. 2. Listen to the words. Now let's talk about verbal clues, because lies often reveal themselves through language patterns. First, too many details. When people tell the truth, they usually give you the basic facts. But when they're lying, they often over-explain, adding unnecessary details to make their story sound more believable. Let me give you an example. Truth. I was late because of traffic. Lie. I was late because there was this massive accident on Highway 101, right by the exit near that new Starbucks, and there were 3 fire trucks and 2 ambulances, and they had to shut down 2 lanes. See the difference? Liars often think more details make them sound more credible, but it actually does the opposite. Second, watch for inconsistencies. They might say they were at the coffee shop at 2 p.m. in one conversation, then suddenly it becomes 3 p.m. in another. Truth doesn't change, lies do. Third, pay attention to verb tense. This is subtle but powerful. When people tell true stories, they naturally use past tense. I went to the store, I bought groceries, I came home. When someone starts a sentence with, "To be perfectly honest with you," I immediately wonder what they were being before, imperfectly honest. 3. The sound of lies. Your voice changes when you lie, whether you realize it or not. First, pitch. When people get nervous or stressed, which happens when lying, their vocal cords tighten and their voice goes higher. It's subtle, but if you listen carefully, you can catch it. I remember negotiating a deal where the other person's voice kept getting higher every time we discussed the timeline. Turned out they knew they couldn't deliver on schedule, but were hoping to figure it out later. Second, listen for hesitations and long pauses. When someone is telling the truth, the story flows naturally because they're recalling actual events. But when they're lying, they need time to construct the story, so you'll hear more and awkward pauses. Throat clearing is another big one. Lying creates stress, and stress affects your throat. If someone keeps clearing their throat while explaining something important, pay attention. But here's the biggest vocal tell: overly defensive responses. Ask a simple question and get a response like, "Why would I lie about that?" Or, "What kind of person do you think I am?" That's not an answer, that's deflection. Honest people answer questions directly. Liars get defensive and try to make you feel bad for asking. I once asked a contractor for references from recent jobs, and he immediately got defensive. "What? You don't trust me? I've been doing this for 20 years? Red flag." A trustworthy contractor would just give you the references for trust patterns, not moments. Now, here's something crucial. One nervous habit doesn't always mean lying. Maybe someone is naturally fidgety, maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they're nervous because they like you, not because they're lying to you. The key is looking for clusters of behavior. When you spot multiple signs happening together, shifting eyes, rushed explanations, nervous laughter, defensive tone, that's when you should really pay attention. Also, look for baseline behavior. How does this person normally act? If someone who's usually calm and confident suddenly becomes fidgety and over-explanatory, that's significant. I learned this lesson the hard way in a relationship. I kept focusing on individual moments instead of the pattern. Sure, she had a good excuse for each individual incident, but when I stepped back and looked at the overall pattern of behavior, the truth became clear. Context matters too. Someone might seem nervous because they're about to ask for a raise, not because they're lying. But if they seem nervous while answering basic questions about where they were last night, that's different. The goal isn't to become paranoid and suspect everyone of lying. It's to develop your awareness so you can protect yourself when it matters. So, how do you use these skills in real life to protect your money, relationships, and opportunities? In business, this can save you thousands. Last time I was in Dubai, I avoided a bad investment because the person pitching it kept touching their face and over-explaining every detail. Something felt off. When I shared with my Dubai-based friends, they told me the whole thing is a fake scheme targeting tourists. I would have lost my money if I indulged. I learned that, when hiring, watch for inconsistencies in their stories about previous jobs. If their timeline doesn't add up or they get defensive about simple questions, keep digging. In relationships, early detection of dishonesty can save you months or years of heartache. If someone's story about their past keeps changing, or they get overly defensive when you ask normal questions about their day, those are red flags worth paying attention to. With money matters, this is huge. Scammers rely on your inability to detect their lies. But if you know what to look for, the over-explaining, the high-pressure tactics, the defensiveness when you ask questions, you can protect yourself. I know someone who almost lost $50,000 to a financial advisor who turned out to be running a Ponzi scheme. She said something felt off about how he explained the returns, but she ignored her instincts. Don't ignore yours. Here's the most important thing I can tell you. Trust your guts. Science shows that your subconscious brain often catches microsignals faster than your conscious mind can process them. That something feels off, feeling. That's your brain picking up on inconsistencies you haven't consciously identified yet. Your intuition has access to more data than you realize. It's processing tone, body language, facial expressions, word choice, and patterns all at once. If something feels off, don't ignore it. That gut feeling is usually right, even if you can't immediately explain why. I've made this mistake before, talking myself out of my instincts because I couldn't logically prove what I was feeling. But looking back, my gut was right almost every time. So here's what I want you to remember. Lies are everywhere, but they're not invisible. They leave traces in body language, word choice, vocal patterns, and behavior. When someone is trying to sell you a story that seems too good to be true, remember to watch for the everything we have discussed in this video. Master this skill, and you'll protect your money from scammers, your time from dishonest people, and your heart from those who don't deserve your trust. This is Richer and Better, where we sharpen the life skills that protect your money, relationships, and opportunities. If this opened your eyes to something new, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And here's my challenge for you. Over the next week, practice observing. Don't accuse anyone of lying, just watch and listen. Notice body language, listen to vocal patterns,